of Super Week. While CLG is feeling good with a 2-0 start, FlyQuest aims to maintain their standing supremacy. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to talk about how FlyQuest were trying to 9-0. I had this whole thing with Cloud9 and brought in this shirt. It was the first shirt I was ever gifted by an org. But hey, TSM, they did the damn thing. They got the dub against FlyQuest yesterday. Good for them. But don't let one game fool you. It's still worth talking about FlyQuest dominance. Actually, can we talk about how exciting it is not just to see this roster shred the rift, but this org's major glow up? I mean, after branching from Cloud9 Challenger in 2017, FlyQuest spent years as the underperforming Snickers org in the LCS, before their biggest rebrand and uptick yet in 2020, complete with world-saving initiatives like Tree Quest, to back-to-back finals appearances, and a not too shabby 3-3 finish at Worlds. I think sometimes people forget about that play from home era, but oh, I remember. I felt so bad when Wild Turtle lost power mid-finals and the food in his fridge went bad. Damn. Well, anyways, since then, FlyQuest has had likable players, rosters punching above their weight, surpassing their value on paper, but it's been a few years since people discussed them as a title contender. Until now. To think this offseason, when Fly was playfully stomping rumors of selling their spot, is the same offseason where under new ownership, they assemble this redonkulous roster? Impact. Former world champion, picked up for his locker room leader skills as described in FlyQuest content, and we know he smurfs as team leader. Spica, he did say in his roster announcement, "I just want to prove to fans that I can be the best, again." And boy, is the former MVP doing it. Vikla, a perfect representation of the new gen of mid laners, always looking for angles with a dynamic play style, gassed up by his teammate Prince, who's probably the most gassed up player in the entire league right now for damn good reason. He's got skill and personality, and you best believe we're gonna be talking about that double lift jersey exchange all split long. In support, we've got Winsome, stepping up big when doubted by many, redefining his identity in the LCS. And of course, it's ironic that Ayla was one of the first to lock onto the FlyQuest roster, but will be one of the last to hit the stage. But maybe the fact that FlyQuest no longer has to worry about this perfect record business puts less pressure on the player swap. I also think it's worth mentioning non-player pickups like President and Chief Gaming Officer Papa Smithy, Head Coach Song, and Content Queen Ovally, demonstrating just how deep the new FlyQuest rivers run. And FlyQuest is still saving the world. The grass is greener on the FlyQuest side. There's so much to say about this team. I just hope you're as jazzed about this iteration of FlyQuest as I am. And don't worry, I've got plenty to say about CLG too, but I'm gonna save that for in-game. Speaking of which, it is time for me to run to the caster booth, so I will see you there, everyone. Roll the intro.
Hello and welcome!
Yeah.
You made it!
Woo! Made it here for game number 1 of the day. What's up, Kobe?
I'm super excited for this one. CLG has had a really big start to Super Week, and FlyQuest just proved that they are mortals with their loss yesterday to TSM. So super excited to see who comes out on top today.
Yeah, maybe FlyQuest has a little extra fire on them if they didn't have enough already, because apparently it's Spica's birthday. Woo! Happy birthday to ya, Spica! 1 year older. What a difference can be made in
Not
a
a
year.
day over 68. Looking great, Spica.
Dude doesn't know what sunscreen is, apparently. But here he is. Prince, give me a kiss on the cheek. You know, that's a pretty decent...
I saw Prince streaming last night, actually, after the games. You know, he wanted to get immediately back in there and start grinding. And it was extremely impressive stuff, just watching from his perspective and his inputs. Definitely a very entertaining stream as well. So, you know, he's got an axe to grind, wants to get back out on top. FlyQuest taking a loss, though, can sometimes be the thing that really just quickly refocuses your team, you know, and reignites that fire that you're talking about. CLG, though, pretty good strategy coming into Super Week. I really like their focus. A lot of combinations with contracts and Palafox specifically. The analyst S was talking about the Vi plus Talia combination, and that's exactly what TSM used to kill Prince. If you have a strategy coming in to attack that AD carry, it really does feel like that is the biggest threat of all the carries on FlyQuest, even though they have a lot of weapons.
That's why the narratives of both of these teams have changed so much just based on Super Week thus far, because zoning in even more on what CLG bring to the table. You said it, Kobe. They've got something in their pocket that can take the team down the only way they have been taken down thus far. But it's important to note how together they've looked. We know that CLG can have that synergy as a squad, and pushing through with the 3-0 in Super Week could do wonders for their momentum. A word I feel like we used for them a lot last year that maybe they're tired of in terms of momentum, but here it can definitely work in their favor.
So much bottom lane focus here from both teams in draft, trying to whittle down on that champion pool for both Prince and Luger. And Luger is definitely brought up as one of the most underrated players in the LCS currently. A lot of Sivir gameplay has gone around too. The Varus, the Sivir, both up here still. With the Lucian ban out, we won't get the Zeri Lulu Lucian Nami combination once again. So we're in for something spicy. We get the Zeri Lulu one side, or not the Lulu, because the Lulu's also banned. So it'll have to be Zeri plus another enchanter.
And for the underrated Luger, as you said, Zeri is definitely a powerful pick. Luger actually looked really good against Team Liquid earlier this league, and now he's going toe-to-toe with the most dominant bot laner in the league. And I think it's one of those things where we talked so much about Luger and Poom when they first came to the LCS because of their previously founded synergy and their times on 100 Thieves and on Academy.
200 years!
It's going to be on the opposite side. Prince coming through with the Felios. This is one of the picks that people really called out when thinking about how good Prince can look.
So Prince has used 7 different champions in 8 games. Now we're going to top it off with 8 here, bringing back the Aphelios. He has started to very slowly creep back in around the world. A couple of plays here and there in pro play. Super excited to see it, though. It is a champion, as far as AD carries go, that you don't want to have to dive into. And already with first 2 picks, FlyQuest, with the Maokai, in addition to the Aphelios here, showing that they are going to have a lot of options if CLG are playing that CLG style, diving forward, charging at you. CLG, though, one of the biggest domino picks here for them, the Sejuani. They love playing melee solo laners, so having that Sejuani plus 2 melee solo laners has really been the secret to a lot of CLG success, and they get 1 here, presumably for Palafox in the mid lane. Dokla, of course, having back-to-back massive Aurelia games for the team so far this split.
Dokla, I love the confidence he's been coming in with this week, not just on the Rift, but on socials as well, backing it up with some banter. And yes,
and the skydiving pictures.
yeah, you know, I definitely give it to them for holding their lunch as much as possible with all that wind force. But when they're used to keeping their nerve about them on the stage, I'm sure it was easy peasy. And looking to make easy peasy work of FlyQuest if you're on the side of CLG as a fan.
So this is one of my preferred strategies for pick ban, is when you are on, you know, red side, grabbing that top laner and then doing 2 protection bans. So FlyQuest, they're able to grab Impact the Jax, big carry threat. He does have his own world skin for it. I've never seen him actually use it, but every time I cross my fingers and hope that it's going to happen. But then since you pick it on your 3rd pick in red side, you get 2 protection ban chances before Dokla gets to pick a counter pick into it. And they go for both the Renekton and the Fiora here to try and set Impact up for success.
Whittling down the options that CLG can lock in, especially considering how they want to set up alongside this Sejuani, having already locked in that Sylas. And we'll see what else they can bring through. Thresh has come through a little bit as well. Got some play this week thus far. We're starting to see the trickles in the shifts in support position and beyond.
Yeah, Winsome not having the greatest Thresh game there, so maybe some FlyQuest fans are happy to see, okay, he won't be rooting himself with his death sentence and dropping any more plays there. But it is one of the champions that can keep Aphelios safe. You're always thinking, this Aphelios, the big weakness, obviously, does not have a dash of his own, so will be denied that Lantern, and they drop the Yone for Vikla, baby!
Vikla switching things up, had the Jace, even though it didn't go as well last time around, now coming through with the Yone.
Yeah, Jace is not gone for anybody, for anybody here in North America. We get the Annie back again, and a Gangplank, another melee solo laner here for CLG. Really excited to see this Annie play again with the recent buffs. Even though it was hotfixed pretty quickly nerfed, still a massive, massive improvement for the champion, and gives you so many playmaking options. Gangplank ultimate from top side, COG saying, hey, we can play around bottom side. We don't have to play around Dokla on top side as a single carry threat. His ult bottom plus an Annie. Tibbers level 6 with some stuns. They have a lot of options. Contracts and Palfox both have set up a lot of bottom lane dives. So we'll see. Can CLG deliver FlyQuest another loss, or FlyQuest going to bounce right back on top?
That's what FlyQuest are aiming for, bringing in the Tom Kench to keep that Aphelios protected, rounding that out. And I don't know, what are you favoring here, Kobe? CLG, FlyQuest, taking any CLG leanings out of it?
Well, I mean, FlyQuest, I think, should definitely be favorites coming into this matchup regardless. I do like the exciting draft here from CLG, though. I can see a lot of the tools that they have already successfully used, even just this week. And we'll see if they can continue on that strategy, especially if they're able to get a lot of focus towards the bottom side of the map and take down Prince. But Prince obviously going to be forced to go with the cleanse. There's so many stunts here. Sejuani, Sylas, Annie, all in his face. So with the flash, with the cleanse, with the Tom Kench, FlyQuest can keep him upright. He will definitely chop down the competition.
The priority to FlyQuest definitely clear with what they have brought through in the draft. I know that CLG would be so happy to end this Super Week with a 3-0 for the remainder of this round robin. But I'm excited. It's Friday. It is a themed day here at the LCS as well. So we are rocking and rolling, getting on to the Rift. But one thing when talking about what CLG is bringing through with the draft, they brought out the Annie earlier this week, and then now once again, is whether it's this roster this year or last year or even some of the other iterations prior to that, it feels like this is a team that is always willing to look at the upcoming patch and see what they can bring through before anyone else. And Annie is a prime example of that.
Yeah, I love the willingness of this team to play the champions that they are just good at, even if they are not necessarily the most meta, as seen by, you know, a lot of their double assassin solo lane compositions. And as well, like you're talking about, jumping on whatever is new in the patch notes that could be OP before the balance team gets a chance to, correct it too far. We'll see if it actually ends up, taking effect this time around. One of the big things for Annie, of course, is that she does get to start with her stun now. No vision, though, currently. See if there's a delayed invade, because Palfox is dangerously close.
Oh, he's there. He was trying to get them to throw out what they got for FlyQuest, but did make the turn quick enough. And has contracts near on by. Going for it. Has to flash away, so FlyQuest do manage to get the summoner.
Yeah, and that is actually the worst of both worlds there. Palfox really, really, really did not want to flash, and so he holds it, hoping that, contracts W slow is going to be enough to peel for him. But because he holds it so long and greeds it a little bit there, FlyQuest are able to get the damage on him, chunking out, what is that, like 600 health almost taken total. He's got no potions left, just his Doran's shield. And he has no flash. So he's a level 1 Sylas with no potions. He's just going to have to wait for his biscuits to arrive to try and sustain here versus Vikla. And he has no flash. That is a giant target on your back. Sylas is always trying to trade his health, for minions early on here. and should mean that Vikla has supreme dominance in the mid lane for the early stages. So much so, Spica being able to finish up the counter jungle on Raptors, plus red, and then just cross right back through vision, through mid lane to go to his Raptors in red, alerting Contracts to know, guess what? You are going to be starving a little bit this game.
It's not something that just put the ankle weights on Palafox. It affects the way that Contracts has to approach these next minutes. But I know the audience is here for CLG. Big Dokes energy right there on the signs. Have you had any favorite signs so far?
I really like the one on the first day of Super Week where I was casting with Captain Flowers and someone asked Flowers if he would be their sugar daddy.
And he didn't say no!
And it just stun locked him. Very rare to be able to stun lock Captain Flowers, but I witnessed it live. See if bottom lane can get stun lock here. They should know though. Contracts literally only had Krugs up. He has to be bottom.
He's here going for the slow on to Prince. Luger in pursuit, but Prince flashing away now. Winsome putting his body between himself and the rest. And Tom Kench, dangerous burn on him. First blood to Luger.
Honestly, if I'm Spica, I'm kind of pissed at my bottom lane here. You know that Contracts has to be bottom. There's no other camps that he could be going to. He goes from Krugs, he gets a successful bottom lane gank off on Prince, puts him behind, gets the Scuttle Crab before being harassed and pushed out by the Maokai. But that is such an amazing recovery here from the CLG jungler. Contracts is able to go straight bottom, runs right past those Krugs, gets down to Winsome and Prince. Boom, you can see the Annie. Got the slow onto Prince pretty early, and then Winsome sacrifices himself, flashing in front of Contracts. It does deny that kill being on Prince, but it's still extra money for CLG. Still means that FlyQuest bottom lane loses out on the extra pressure.
And all of the summoners expelled for the FlyQuest bottom lane as well during that time. So some caution that they will have to take moving forward. A couple, of course, for CLG too. In mid lane, some swings onto Palafox. Knows that he has some friends nearby in the jungle if necessary.
Support roams, baby. They are powerful. Poom on the move with Contracts. Lot of CC in that duo. But Spica, thankfully for FlyQuest, was able to get the crab before and get out. Contracts, he queued into the pit and then walked, hugging the top side of the pit to avoid that Scuttle Crab vision. Even with those shenanigans, though, avoiding vision still is sniffed out by Impact.
Drops the ward over on that top side, so Impact definitely knows how to play very carefully when lacking the knowledge of the enemy jungler here. But when talking about Annie just moving up all that way, how do you expect the roams here on the Annie with Poom to compare to some of the other supports we have seen in the league thus far this split?
Annie's one of the best roaming supports we have in the game. It all depends if you can get time for Annie to roam, though. Roam windows are what you need to look for. Helping ganking bottom is the first step. Getting that Annie some time to be able to move where Luger is safe. Does have his flash. Looks like a couple of close trades here on the top side of the map, but not gonna be any blood just yet until Contracts arrives. Maybe he's gonna do a little bit of a lane gank here. Impact does jump in.
Oh yeah, gets the leaping strike.
Got him.
Inside, bashed in the face by Contracts.
Really good job there by Dokla. Baiting Impact in, giving him a nice little juicy gangplank to jump onto. He gets the bait successfully. Boom, though, with the attempted roam up the river.
Uses the Pyromania stun to try and create some distance, but Winsome going undertow and up above. They put Boom right in the center of that triangle for his own death.
Wandering Annie gets instantly taken down for the rebuttal from FlyQuest. Also gives them control over the dragon. So we had a recall from Luger inside the jungle. Zeri all the way back to base. Means Prince with his white gun is able to get a turret plate, and they're going to get a dragon off of it. FlyQuest always so good at retaining focus on the objectives, even if something like, the Contracts lane gank up top side catches Impact off guard. They've dropped down a kill. They still remain focused. They go for their bottom side play. They get their cross map, and it's even more value for them, getting the kill plus the dragon and a turret plate for their AD carry.
A right read on the room when talking about how great at roaming Andy is when finding the windows. That also gives the opportunity to punish when caught out in that way. So FlyQuest making sure that CLG don't get too much of an avalanche in gold or anything beyond. Plenty of wards right across that line of scrimmage in the Dragonside River after acquiring that first Drake for themselves. So keeping that objective focus that you mentioned, and CLG still planning to build their power elsewhere, falling behind in the lanes though in CS.
Yeah, and it's definitely something you need to keep in mind as a jungler whenever you're going to go for a topside gank. If you're going for a topside gank before 8 minutes, then you have to realize you could be giving up the cross map for a dragon and not getting an objective back in your favor in exchange, because Rift Herald free 8 minutes won't be there for you to take. So now Contracts, once it has spawned, heads on up there, and because of his top lane gank, Dokla has the advantage here over Impact. Impact down to 50% HP, and they're actually going to go for it. Spica blast cones in.
He's here, throws down the ultimate, wants to get the lock onto 2, but ends up missing both. Impact also on the collapse, and Vikla burned on down, ults into the backline of them all. Contracts marked down low, but it's Dokla that's the first to fall in this exchange. A stun up onto Impact, gets punished in the process. Contracts, no flash as it was previously used. FlyQuest wants to get Palafox after he flashes over the wall, manages to get some slams on him. Double kill for Vikla.
The Rift Herald wants to see some blood, and the Rift Herald gets what it wants. Everybody down except for Vikla. What a collapse here from FlyQuest. Spica goes over really early on the blast cone, and double solo laners coming in. Vikla starts it out on the Yone, going in with his E, and gets focused by CLG, but they're unable to burst him down. And so they win the bit of the skirmish here for FlyQuest. Here's another look at it. Spica starts out with his Maokai ultimate, which actually gets dodged because it's pointing towards topside. But then there's the focus on Vikla. Everything from CLG. He snaps back and flashes after his E, so he's able to escape while they take down the gangplank here. And without Dokla, not going to be able to finish up on the skirmish. Spica then falling with his W into tower range. Just barely locked up for a little bit too long there by the E2 from Palafox. Got stunned at tower.
Meanwhile, down on the bot side, Luger is playing Zeri, so you do have some mobility to get out of these tight binds if that Aphelios decides to descend upon you. But over on top, Impact leaping away with this 2v2. We have seen so often Spica using the vision they've been granted over on bot side to be able to match and answer contracts when he's making rotations and vice versa.
Yeah. One big thing too off of that Rift Herald play, it should be noted, yes, CLG got out quicker back onto the map and picked up the Rift Herald, but also because they used their first Gangplank ultimate in that skirmish on top side, they can't use it on bottom side, and so top side is going to be camped by Contracts.
Impact once again the subject of CLG. They were trying to make it happen, and now they did. A kill in CLG's favor.
See, they picked the Gangplank on my, oh, maybe they won't be playing around Dokla. Maybe they'll play around bottom side with Gangplank ultimate. Nope. Contracts still camps top side.
Contracts fallen into a little bit of action with Spica and Vikla. So it's almost one of those things that you think of when, okay, Gangplank ultimate has so much reach, probably means prioritizing that pressure elsewhere, but CLG saying, now we're still going to keep to our strategy. Palafox taking a lot of damage here, though, and use the hijack and beyond to get out.
Yeah, I mean, this is set up to be Vikla's game. He got such a big advantage off the level 1 where they chunked out Palafox down to like 150 HP, blew his flash early. You know, Vikla's on the Yone, big playmaking champion, finds Annie.
Wants to keep going, and that's the thing about Yone is when you have Soul Unbound, and especially that combo whenever Fate Sealed is up, it's difficult to imagine your team getting out of reach of the power that Vikla will be able to dish out.
Yeah, especially with him picking up the extra kills from the Rift Herald play. Big item on the list for CLG is going to be how can we contain this mid lane. There is currently teleport advantage for Vikla as well, while Spica is heading bottom side to try and push Luger off this wave, and they just call their Yone down. Vikla only has to come halfway down through the jungle, and CLG's bottom lane, you see them giving up access to this minion wave. It is a cannon minion wave on tower, and it's going to be another tower plate for Prince.
One of the difficulties there when you have Luger and Poon pushed back is, yes, there's this great stun that you can do with Annie, but it's also so visible when that stun is even available. So on FlyQuest side, knowing that they can continue to pressure them down, lots of plates already eliminated here past the 12-minute mark in the mid and bottom lane because Vikla, no issue with playing aggressively onto Palafox.
like that bottom lane focus with their roam from Vikla plus the kind of hover there from Spica is going to result in Dragon number 2 picked up for them. So while the gold is pretty close, and of course you have to take into account the added gold from Gangplank passive being generated by CLG, the 2 dragons here for FlyQuest are looking pretty nice.
Which means it's an Ocean Soul that'll eventually be up for grabs. Coming on to the Rift here, but CLG managing to keep that gold, even though, yes, there's a lot of dominance on the actual objective play from FlyQuest. But what would you say of the current state of these 2 teams, considering the comps that they brought through and what's expected as we're cressing into that 14-minute mark soon?
I mean, we're going to have, first of all, a nice engagement from Vikla pushing out mid. Like I said, I feel like it's going to be about FlyQuest's mid jungle and what CLG can do on the side lanes instead. So Vikla's going to keep on pressuring Palfox, chunks him out super heavily again. And now he's got freedom. So whenever you have mid lane priority, FlyQuest looking to make it spill over. They've tried to keep Impact afloat here on the top side because Contracts has been camping him for so long. And with the Rift Herald on top side, it almost takes down the turret, but
the return of Sejuani to answer the ultimate by Spica, and they continue to go on down. Dokla into stasis under the cannon barrage, and now getting some more slices because Vikla said, yup, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be everywhere to get the kills. Another 1-4 and 3-0-1 on the scoreboard right now.
Yeah, that's the dangerous part in this game. If you don't have mid-prow like that, Yone roaming very, very fearsome. He gets up there, they get the kill. Still, the turret was taken by CLG. Contracts is going to run into one of those annoying saplings here, so Impact should be able to get out no problem. But CLG getting the gold, getting the extra territory on the map by actually taking down the turret might be an avenue for them.
That first turret for CLG, FlyQuest looking to answer with that bot side turret now for themselves. A lot of that pressure that they were able to implement on the bot side to answer Contract's presence over on that top side. Really identifying their win condition in this game between Dragons and that pressure.
3 kills now for Vikla Yone. With the extra BF sword on top of the shield bow, quite a lot of DPS, and Yone pretty happy about the acceleration towards his Infinity Edge. Now, in the long lane, it's going to be pretty difficult to deal with him. He's got Unleashed Teleport, and FlyQuest can rotate their Tahm Kench here through to the mid lane. You keep Prince safe, plus you threaten pretty quick roams yourself. CLG now, the #1 priority, try and get your defensive vision up so you can actually see these moves from FlyQuest. If you allow these rotations too quickly from FlyQuest, you're just going to continue to get picked off, continue to bleed gold here.
It's one of those points where you want to create advantage of your own. That's what they're trying to do here. Winsome flashing out in response to the ultimate lockdown, and the grass coming through from Spica as well. The Tiber's thrown out too, but no one's going to die just yet. There were enough retreat paths available, even have the control down here when Spica was trying to creep up from the opposite side. But the second Rift Herald is up. FlyQuest are the first to rotate to it with the vision afforded to them. Meanwhile, still keeping up that pressure in mid lane with this dwindling turret.
Yeah, Aphelios able to annihilate the minion wave, no problem. We even have impact on Jax. After shoving out bottom lane, is able to come pressure towards mid. FlyQuest, because they've got access to all these minion waves, just corralling CLG in their own territory, doing a very good job here and trying to continue to extend their lead in the game. They retake the very, very marginal gold lead, but pretty importantly, get that Rift Herald #2 off of the map, pick it up for themselves so they continue this tower destruction.
Just trying to break down as much as they can. Palfox with the hijack ultimate. Throwing it down, gets the root, but Vikla just so strong at this point. Wherever he finds the fight with Palafox is still able to show a decent amount of dominance, slashing against him under this turret here.
All right, reset here pretty quickly for FlyQuest. Prince back out on the field. He's close to Infinity Edge, doesn't quite have enough to finish it on this back. But heading out here with Gale Force, he is definitely one of the players that most offensively uses these Gale Force actives. He buys Gale Force on most every AD carry, Very excited to see what he's able to pull off it. We've had some real big Aphelios highlights, especially here with this item, and with Spica having ultimate available on Maokai and Dragon number 3 about to spawn, you have to think FlyQuest going to get some saplings and river control here for themselves and advance the Dragon, and then set up for a big Maokai ultimate.
Oh, a buck slammed, and I mean, Shelby's still going at the turret here. With most of the teams joined here on the bot side, I think it is important to call out things like that Gale Force, right? The same way when we're looking at stopwatches and beyond, there's a reason that champions like Aphelios, like Jhin, and all the like started building this item when it came through, offering a sense of mobility and a very immobile champion. So suddenly when you think you're getting the lockdown on one of the most prominent threats for FlyQuest, he has an escape mechanism, especially with that active currently available. Of course, a completed item on the opposite side for Luger, but still working into that next power spike. CLG don't want to step up to this Dragon take, so it is sole point for FlyQuest with a 1.2k gold lead here past 18 minutes.
I hear the CLG faithful in the audience here trying to keep that faith alive. The defense, we did defense chants for them right now because the map is closing in around on them. FlyQuest, as we said, moving ahead their tower destruction as well as picking up Dragon number 3, successfully taking down all outer defenses of CLG, makes it really difficult for them, to pick their moment. So CLG right now, they're looking at when can we get close enough on items with our carries to be able to choose our moment and just all in. We have Annie Sejuani. You get them with a Gangplank ultimate for the slow. You flash in with the Annie, try and get a large engagement there, pick some people off, and you have to explosively blow open a window back into this game for yourself. Otherwise, FlyQuest will continue to push in on you. Vikla now on the top side, though. He's the chosen one.
Surrounded by 3, and CLG want to defy what he has accomplished thus far over the wall. Falls to Palafox.
All right, CLG trying to blow open a hole back into this game. They choose Vikla, the Fed Yone. They take him down. They get the bounty. Really nice flash from Contracts, flashing in front of the ultimate from Yone so that he's not going to go the full distance. Will stop on the champion. And because of that, forces the flash out of Vikla, followed by Palafox. Much needed money here. And getting it into the Silas with 2 stacks on the Rod of Ages, closing in. Couple more minutes here for him, and maybe that will be the moment that CLG can try and peak and actually come in time for this Dragon. With 3 minutes on that timer, it might line up quite nicely for themselves, because giving away the soul would be a real heartbreaker for them. So they have to rally around. Annie still having stun is a really big one too. That last play only took the flashes of Contracts and Palafox to accomplish, and being able to have the Annie stun for the Dragon fight with a big flash, definitely a moment where Poom could take it back.
Definitely one of my favorite ARAM plays, though. You get the snowball with Annie as well, and you can just get right in there, get the stun up, and accomplish all you need. But that's why that flash has a little extended value when it comes to Annie specifically, to be able to set up the rest of the play, even sacrifice your life when necessary.
Yeah, and the best thing about it is that it is an AoE stun. So even if Winsome is there for the Tahm Kench to be able to eat someone, you're going to stun everybody, including the Tahm Kench, and delay that defensive maneuver. You have to keep in mind, of course, Prince has taken cleanse this game, seeing all the CC in front of his face. So you're going to have to work through that and account for that as well ahead of time. But if they can use it to kill either of those solo lane carries, then that could definitely set them up. Meanwhile, Vikla wants to remind you that he is still the super fed one in this game. Pushes up, side lane priority for him. I think FlyQuest correctly keeping up their 1-3-1 pressure. Jack split push on top side, Vikla on bottom side, keeping CLG again kind of pinned up on their own side of the map so that their vision starts to dwindle.
And speaking of that dwindling vision that FlyQuest has ensured to be decreasing for CLG, they're on the Baron right now. CLG have this intel. There's still a teleport available for Vikla. 2 teleports coming on through. The cannon coming down for Dokla as well. Some chunks on, but it is FlyQuest getting the Baron. Answered with a hijack. Winsome goes down. Vikla ults out of the equation, so CLG only taking down a support thus far, and all the purple that FlyQuest are donning remain for the rest of the 4.
Yeah, they burned it right down. CLG, even with the couple of wards there towards the Scuttle Crab, are a little bit too late. FlyQuest are able to burn it down and only sacrificing Winsome. Only the support is definitely a good trade for FlyQuest. So now with Baron buff, they're going to be able to get back out there. Winsome up in 1 second here will be able to arrive for the Dragon as well. CLG correctly being able to get a little bit more out of it and taking mid turret, some gold for themselves. Plus they now have the vision advantage.
Oh, the stun, but that's the thing when it comes to Vikla and Prince, as you identified the 2 people that CLG really have to worry about and what they have in their arsenal to try and escape some of the bursts that CLG want to throw down, and they want to go for more right now. Vikla starting to get it, but he gets a shutdown onto Palafox instead. Contracts knocked up, knocked down. The anti-Tibbers response, and soon that power goes down, down, down. Contracts eliminated. 2 for CLG. FlyQuest coming out on top in the fight.
Yeah, FlyQuest coming out on top, all right. Their rewards for coming out on top should be the Dragon Soul. Vikla here with the Soul Unbound is kind of delaying.
I feel like Yone players just love being able to sling in and out in that way. Very satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason FlyQuest won that fight in the mid lane is because Vikla had the kind of Matador play where Dokla steals Yone ultimate and charges right for Vikla, but Vikla just Soul Unbound a little bit to the side, dodges out on it, and then they just blow up Palafox.
I think off of that individual play being highlighted, FlyQuest worked very well as a team to just keep their focus on these objectives, get themselves the soul right now, an Ocean Soul at that. And even though the gold hasn't been this monumentous moment, it's a steady crawl for them, trying to get the finish off onto Dokla. Vikla, I think he's feeling himself. I think he's feeling real good on this Yone.
He certainly is. I love some of the interviews with FlyQuest members on stage afterwards, too. They're so supportive of their teammates. And Prince was talking about, trying to find ways to encourage Vikla to be more confident in his play. Well, this game is going to be just that. He's definitely been confident today, and rightfully so. 5-1-2 on that Yone. Massive level 1 start for him with that invade and with that advantage, and he was successfully able to pair up with Spica, influence the side lanes, come over, get a bunch of those picks, and push the game forward.
Even if this isn't the week that it happens, because there's so many factors that come into play, Prince, in his Player of the Week interview he did with Jat, was talking about how, yes, he wants to keep getting them, but wants to see other teammates getting them as well, and called out Vikla as the first he would like to see do so, because he is just a strong player and what he brings to the team. And I think we're seeing that on full display here on the Yone. But all the while, FlyQuest feeling good with what they have accomplished thus far, continuing to venture on forward on this map. For CLG, though, are there any angles that you can identify for them and how they should be approaching these next few minutes? No longer have Baron buff to worry about, but are pretty pushed into their base.
Yeah, you've always got the, pray for late angle. That is the fallback for every team that is down Dragon Soul at 25 minutes in. You're thinking, don't worry, it's okay. You just got to keep telling each other, we're fine, we scale, play for late. You got to hope for that big team fight. The problem is, of course, always that you are going to be pinned up in a really small area here. So it's hard to get a surprise on your opponents, as FlyQuest are doing a very good job once again. 1-3-1, pushing them in, not overextending though, to give anyone up. And you kind of just have to go for it. You have to have everyone just charge forward, overload one side, get your pick, and hopefully you can do that quick enough that the other parts of the map don't fall to FlyQuest, because in a straight up fight, FlyQuest are definitely going to dominate.
And that's the difficulty, as you see on your screen, what FlyQuest can do even when not mounted as a whole crew. Vikla, the subject of Luger right now. Luger over the wall, flashes forward for the final burst fire. Woo! Putting only the second death into FlyQuest's mid laner's pocket, but a death at that as FlyQuest continue to entrench upon this mid lane. A little bit of a tickle onto the inhibitor, but not enough to finish it just yet.
Big Dokes here, barely able to survive on the outside, and allowing Luger to flash in and get themselves another kill onto Vikla, another shutdown here. That's about all COG have been able to scrounge together since since FlyQuest have fully taken control, but that's how you have to attack it. Attack that side lane, attack the split champion. If FlyQuest are going to play all 3 lanes, see what you can get on one of them.
Grants yourself a sense of reprieve when you can take someone down like Vikla in this particular matchup. Define the condition that CLG want to lean into.
And Zeri here, Luger, with that shutdown money, is starting to look like a pretty scary Zeri. We've got Dokla already 3 core items on the gangplank, so you know and you dream of those big barrel chains. If you can get one of those back onto Prince, get them some nice zoning work done in this team fight, then the Zeri is prime for cleaning them up. It's going to be very difficult, of course, to be able to find that positioning. As you highlight all these wards here from FlyQuest, they've got the entire map lit up, and CLG having a very scary time trying to protect against another sneak Baron from FlyQuest.
A sneaky, that's exactly what happens. You get that Nature's Grasp right over the wall because of that vision afforded. They're locking down onto Impact, who goes into stasis himself. But CLG are backed out of it. Tibber is about to be burned down. So a slight fight for a moment, but FlyQuest still in the river positioning and can move forward on their own.
And if it is an extended fight here, of course, this Ocean Soul for FlyQuest does a lot of work, healing them right back up. They've got Maokai saplings in every single brush. CLG, they just have to push forward, brute force it.
Yep, Impact with teleport available will be coming into that bot side. Boom getting chunked down. Vikla into the back with the ultimate, starts to slash contracts as the first subject, but actually it is Boom, the first to fall. They've taken down the jungler, and Palafox immediately upon stopwatching falls as well. CLG is big. Dokes, you better be big when you're the only one standing on the map and you got Vikla upon you. But FlyQuest, they see that line, they see that avenue into the base right now, and they ain't afraid of Dokla.
Yep, FlyQuest delivered the killing blow, baiting around Baron, turning out the lights, and it's Dokla versus the entire team.
Dokla just with his little gangplank self in the fountain for FlyQuest. Ain't no loss, gonna keep them down, bouncing back against the Surgeon. CLG, 8th dub of the round robin.
Well done for FlyQuest securing themselves first place after the first round robin. No one can catch them. Evil Geniuses and Cloud9 are the closest at 6 wins. They get one more here today, can get that second place, but FlyQuest will remain number 1 in the LCS. Only dropping the single game in the first round robin to TSM yesterday.
And sometimes that single game can get some people weak in the knees when they're watching. Oh, what are we witnessing? But nope, still same FlyQuest, still same domination, still same clear game plan from start to finish here.
Really big benefits from that level 1 invade, I have to say. Getting a lot of health, getting a flash advantage as well. But it's not just that. The Rift Herald fight, picking up the extra kills and being able to snowball here. Nice to see Vikla really stepping up as a big carry force for this team. Constantly pushing on the side lanes, even after getting picked off a couple times. Still keeps up that pressure, and FlyQuest are able to use it to completely take over vision control of the map.
And based on some of the vibes on the stage, I'm sure CLG were really looking forward to a potential 3-0 this week, but it was still a 2-1 off of that after an 0-4 streak prior to week number 4. So a lot of positives to be taken away with from this week, despite getting the loss here against FlyQuest. Vikla showing us how he can flex, not just in-game, but outside of it.
Big, big stuff from this team. They're shaping up to be so scary because everyone has agreed Prince, best AD carry in the league. Don't have to worry about him. And it's a magnifying glass, and I feel like every other member of the team and looking at how they all really play together. Spica has been so good at enabling these lanes. So good on, I don't know why he gets Maokai every single game, feels like. He might have the most Maokai gameplays of any jungler in the league. But we also know, as the meta starts to change and the upcoming nerfs that they have slated for the champion, He's very good on carry champions too. Excited to see where jungle goes from here.
We've only gotten to see the sliver of him between the Maokai and the Sejuani and the Amumu, all very much that I'm willing to be the tank
He
for
plays
the team and
what's
make
OP.
the plays.
He plays what's meta. He plays what's OP. If it has high win rate, Spica's in there.
And that's what champions are made of, right? Not just playing to something specifically for themselves, but what the team and the meta are calling for. And we talk so much about Prince, yes, and having this very clear star carry, but it is important to note what Vikla was able to do, the way that Impact can create or withstand pressure on the map when CLG are still trying to play to that top side and make stuff happen. That's what allows your carries to shine.
Certainly is. Certainly is. This team definitely shaping up to be very good. Heading towards the second round robin. Of course, happy that CLG had such a good start to this Super Week. Very impressive stuff from them, and I like that they do stay to their style. That does have a lot of assassin gameplay. That does have a lot of side lane gameplay, and being able to successfully win with Aurelia, back to back, inspiring. Hopefully, more teams to pick some more variation in champs.
Yeah, I'm sure that we'll see some things switching up once we get into that second round robin. Before we head down to the stage, though, I'm going to say congratulations to those of you who earned bonus points on the LCS/Sleeper app for having this week's top performers in your lineups. I'm excited because I haven't met Cutie Cinderella, actually. This is as close as I've gotten. Hi, I think you're pretty cool, and I'm really happy that you're here, and Spica's pretty cool, too, so let's go ahead and hear what y'all have to say.
Hello and welcome. We're on stage with FlyQuest jungler Spica and Birthday Boy.
Thank you.
We brought you a cake. I don't know how you're supposed to hold that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy birthday. How old are you turning today, Spica?
22.
Oh my gosh. So you're going to retire soon?
I'm an esports boomer officially, I think.
Well, awesome. So you guys are 8-1.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be the best in the league right now?
I mean, unfortunately, we're 9-0, not 9-0, but honestly, I'll take it because last split I was maybe 1-8. I don't remember, but so it's a lot better.
It's a better year this year, and maybe 22 is going to be your best year. No one on the FlyQuest roster has played together before this year. How do you think the team synergy is working?
I mean, I think we're working really, really well.
You don't hate anybody yet?
I don't hate anybody yet.
Good.
Not yet.
That's really good.
So far, everybody's tolerable.
Okay.
But I think everyone has like great personalities. We get along really, really well. I'm really happy.
Oh, good. I think we've all been wondering after that viral clip of Prince yesterday, have you broken the news to him that Sneaky and Sivir Sneaky are not dating?
There's a viral clip.
Yeah. He reacted to Prince reacted to a clip of Sneaky dressed as Sivir, and he was a little confused about their relationship.
But he liked it.
Who doesn't?
I mean, I will tell you one thing. This morning, right? It's my birthday. He came up and he hugged me and gave me a kiss on the cheek.
Oh my gosh!
That's all I'm gonna say. That's
that team synergy that we're talking about.
That's team bonding right there.
FlyQuest has it different than the rest of them. I'll say it.
I mean, that's why we look so close together, you know?
Yeah.
It's bromance.
Well, is there any advice you'd give to the team that you just beat?
Oh wow, that's kind of BM, no?
I know.
We just beat them. We're like, yeah, you could. I mean, just
help them out. It's a tough season.
I mean, I think CLG has played really well together. I think if they keep it up, they are definitely on the way to become a really, really good team. They just need to play their style, you know?
Yeah.
I think they're just a really, really interesting team. The way they play the game is very refreshing. I would say they have their own unique style, so I'm really happy to see where they go from here.
And the only team you did lose to this week or last week was TSM. What went wrong?
What went wrong? I mean, everything, I think.
Oh.
Honestly. I mean, I'm not really too sad over the loss. I think it's just an off day for us. I think we just weren't really focused. And at least for me, I feel like it's like a wake-up call, you know? It's like, hey, you got to take every game. You just got to be desperate for every win. So I think today our energy was higher. We were trying a lot harder in comms. So hopefully we persist through the other 9 games.
And do you have any plans for your birthday, or do you just plan on playing all day?
I was going to play, but I have a dinner day with my girlfriend.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, I believe that is I have one more question for you. Last time I was here, you made a cake of Yumi crying, right?
Yes, that was great.
Do you think it was okay? Do you think you're responsible for Yumi getting nerfed to the ground?
I mean, you're welcome, I guess. I mean, I'm doing everyone in the league community a favor. You're not
True.
getting me nerfed, so
True.
should get a medal.
Well, that is it. That is it from us.
Oh, it's a.
Plenty more LCS coming up. Yeah, you can take a bite if you want.
Do I get to keep the plate as well, or? You know, actually, I don't like chocolate, but.
I'm never
since
making
it's a
you
gift
anything
from
again.
you,
No,
I'll
that's
take
fine.
a bite.
Okay.
I'll take a bite. So
I didn't get you a fork,
just-
so yeah, just go for it. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, it's good.
It's okay.
It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Thank you. You play good too.
Thank you.
I've said that.
Thank you. Your
Yeah.
interviews are great too.
You are
Thank you.
great too. Anyway, right back after this break, we've got Immortals and EG.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Sorry about that. Well, my name is Rafa. Welcome here to Late Night Hours at the LCS Lounge, where at least it's midnight somewhere in the world. Am I right? Well, we got regular Emily Rand here, sharing another one of her great pieces. This time, it's called Vikla.
Thank you. Ide Kwang, a great light. Hinanun Upchok, despite moving to another country, another culture, in the prime of his career. Career Jonsongki, reigning LCK rookie, in solo queue used to one-trick Pantheon, now brings that energy to everything he carries on. Mid-chai, so high, goodbye. See you in the next lobby. Limit upsaw, with room to grow. Enjoy the show. More than just a job, he aggressively and energetically defies the imagination. Consider this my inadequately expressed appreciation.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. It's always a pleasure to work with you, Emily Rand. Now, we need some newcomers up here on the. Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen you before, but what's your name, brother?
Name is not important.
All right, Mr. Hotshot. All right. Well, what do you got for us today?
575.
Okay, 575. You got a specific beat you want for it?
Whatever you feel, I'll make it work.
Oh, whatever I feel. Well, keep up, rookie.
League championship. Spring split. Does it matter much? Reddit will decide.
Are you gonna say anything more?
That's all I had to say.
I mean, I don't know what you were going for, but it was kind of cool, and I'm grooving here. All right. Look, you don't have anything more.
That's it.
Please don't come back here again.
Red Bull gives you wings. Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Hmm?
Hello and welcome back to the LCS Lounge. We're chilling with Cutie Cinderella. We'll be doing a champ select for Immortals vs. EG in a second, but before that, we're giving you some shots of the Lunar Revel event that's going on right now live at the LCS studio. Fans can interact with different things.
They had a bunch of pro players also put things on.
Oh, I was like,
Berserker did one, JoJo did one.
Some of them are really funny. Like I know JoJo did unban Crocs, which I believe are now. Oh no, he said unban Crocs at MSI and Worlds.
Yes.
Because they're unbanned now in the LCS. So.
FBI had a very dark one about the world not ending, hopefully. And I was like, what the hell? What are you reading?
His news feeds need to be curated a little bit.
Yes.
What would be your wish if you had one?
My wish would be to get out of bronze.
There it is. That's a good enough wish.
Which I
Put it
think
up
is
there.
possible because I'm making great friends.
True.
Right, guys?
That's the real reason you're here. I'm making new friends to help me climb.
Right?
That's why you come by. Okay,
Yeah,
I get it. I get it.
Flash changes at some point in the game to D instead of F or something like that. That's just a choice.
I think it'll be, it's just a choice. It's a personal choice. It's a personal choice.
Exactly.
If I just suddenly stop playing Jinx and Jinx only, then we know something is up, I guess. But you guys are good at this. Do you ever compliment yourselves?
Opposite, actually.
No.
Really?
Yeah. I tell myself that I suck at everything I do.
She actually does, and we need to stop her to do that. You guys could actually help in stopping
Keeps
her
me
from doing
sharp.
that.
Keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, exactly. Keep yourself on your toes, you know?
Oh, they have little lanterns. Look at that.
Yeah, it is very, very cute up there. It's very cozy.
Yes, and inside the lanterns, you see like some of the team logos. From what I saw when EG was playing, there's a TL one, I think. Yes.
Oh, they have.
So I guess it's for all
Yeah,
teams.
all right.
Yeah, so I guess it's for all teams. All the lanterns have like different logos, which is like a nice little tidbit that they added to the feature.
I would not have noticed that until you.
There we go, Mr. My observation skills are very selective. Sometimes I see nothing.
So heading into this game, Cutie, who do you think you are expecting to win this game?
I'm going for Evil Geniuses.
There we go.
That's
Safe
the
bet.
correct
Good
prediction.
call.
Yeah.
Mark, for whatever reason, chose IMT.
I flipped everything today.
Why is that? It felt like being edgy.
Yeah.
You're not like the other
Well,
girls.
Because yesterday we all predicted the exact same thing.
And we all got 3 out of 5 correct. So
Which we got.
It's a W in my book.
We got 2 wrong, all of us, because it did not go according to plan. So I said, 1, everything was wrong yesterday, or a lot of things were wrong yesterday. And 2, I knew we would all do the same thing again today, so I flipped everything because they're all the same again. They're boring.
Yeah, and I will say,
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
EG is 6-2, but their last 2 games have been super iffy.
They're a
They
little
played
sus.
100 Thieves, and they basically got outscaled before they just ran mid and won. And then yesterday, the other team was trying to run mid and win, and it just like didn't work a couple times. So EG was in losing positions, I think, at certain points in both games this week. But if they win this, they're 3-0, and people aren't going to remember that, at the end of the season.
True. And the sad thing is people won't remember some of the improvements that IMT has had. Like, I feel like like yesterday's game versus C9, we saw another game in which Revenge was ahead, top side of the map. He was doing quite well. There was a goal lead there for IMT. And then bot lane fight happened. Jax gets 3 kills. Just completely erased that memory. People will not remember the fact that IMT was winning until they lost. So hopefully we see just generally better play from the squad as a unit. I think one point in their game yesterday that people will remember was like, Diplux just had a really good 1v1 dive onto Olive that really changed the trajectory on that one.
Also, the thing you could see, and I know you and I were talking about this backstage, but the thing you could see from that play is how coordinated they were in comparison to INT, where like their timings were slightly off, right? Like, Kenby was coming up just a little bit more delayed. Meanwhile, I know Diplux had told me he was already calling for Sven and Blabber to come up, right? So they coordinated that play super well.
Yeah, I think they also had a close game against FlyQuest, if I'm not mistaken. Immortals were scrapping them out as well. So tough strength of schedule on the back half of the first round robin for them, but I think showing signs of improvement. We'll see if they can keep that up.
Yeah, I heard that EG was doing some, this tells you, they're doing some final audio adjustments, which is why we haven't gotten Champ Select yet. But
they're listening to us, and they want more QC before they
I was going to tell them secrets. No,
Who's going for the QDC segment after this one?
A big thing is interesting is just seeing the bounce back after a loss, and maybe that sometimes like lights a flame underneath you. So I think today they could play even better than yesterday.
True. Actually, one thing, this reminded me of CLG's performance because CLG yesterday, it was TSM yesterday. TSM picking up the win versus FlyQuest was one thing, but it was like, obviously it was that ignition underneath them, losing to Golden Guardians. Chime said it in the post-game interview of how, like, obviously pissed off after the loss and then wanting to really find that kind of level and improvement going into the next game. So yes, I think that kind of ignition will light it under them. EG's weird because they won the game, but the way they won is certainly going to light a fire underneath them. So we're getting straight into Champ Select. Want to see what changes they make going into this game.
I would like to see them not flex Jace, and Immortals has done it for them. So
Thank you, Immortals.
I guess people think that it is actually a threat and a problem in these games. It hasn't looked like it to me, but
What is it, 1-7 in LCS right now or something like that?
the win was
and the
yesterday
win was
for
EG.
Yeah.
where they were in a losing position. But sure, they can't do it.
I mean, if you can win with Jace, you must be pretty good by LCS standards.
Interesting EG bans right now. On red side, just going straight for Kenby's picks. Graves and Kindred taken away. And even though he's primarily picked more utility, some like Sejuani and all that, his most recent wins were based off of his Graves game. So looks like they're just targeting him.
Yeah, and that's smart, I think, because I don't think he's looked, I know Mark pointed this out previously, but like, I don't think he's looked more comfortable and confident than he was on that Graves, right? Like his forward positioning, kind of trying to gain ground for the team. He was particularly aggressive in that game, so I think the 2 target bans are pretty smart.
Yeah, if you can put him on a tank, he becomes significantly less effective. I think is EG's game plan here, and then you can deal with him from there. A third ban too, Kenby.
Yeah, Maokai seems like the best first pick here. Varus might be a nice take, like just pick from the 1-2 from Evil Geniuses as a response. We're seeing a lot of Yone overall.
Lots
so
of Yone. As the low elo representative here, at the weekend after LCS on the Rift, all of a sudden you just see all the copycats.
Oh, here we go.
Like, why are we playing Yone? Please stop.
Is it your teammates that's running it down on Yone, or are you getting terrorized by the enemy Yone?
It seems to be the opposite. Whichever one makes me lose the most is what I get paired with.
Nice. That's fabulous.
All right, I'm smelling some handshakes coming in here.
Yeah,
Maybe get Zeri, Lulu, or maybe a bye.
Jungle handshake.
Oh God, does anyone think they might see a Lucian Nami?
The 80 carry handshake. I mean, I think a lot of people viewed Fleshy learning how to handshake and also understanding that there's a space in his name. So I would say it's Lucian Nami, and we're going to see some auto space.
We might also see Aphelios Thresh. I think Fleshy is known for more camps. And Aphelios has been, okay, well that's one
Aphelios
hook.
is a hot pick right now.
Yeah, so we got one hook champ, which is the Nautilus. Lee Sin, I guess they're trying to get, no, I mean, I'm
he's just
baited.
playing.
They already have
covering stuff. It's a Kaisa.
But I do hope that we see an AD carry back here.
The old
Aphelios. There you go.
Okay, that was the up.
All right, QTC.
Damn.
She called it right, not me.
Well, I just copied rest. Oh, no, I called that. I knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Annie mid. Oh, wait, it's not locked.
It's not locked. Stop getting
This would be
excited.
interesting, though. We saw it in LCK from Bulldog, if I remember
True.
correctly.
Yes, you are right.
He's really good, by the way. It just doesn't fit.
Would you blind it though? No.
I mean, into Aphelios with no Thresh, like you could probably just one-shot him. Like
Or you could take Silas and get 2 sick ultimates from Maokai and Nautilus.
Literally,
right now.
Silas is the freest pick into Maokai, but into Maokai Nautilus is even better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Silas is the pick.
And if I'm IMT right now, I think the 2 champions that would kind of round out the draft, just ignoring 4 or 5 bans, would be Azir and GP, the decent one. Topside, obviously, we're going to see. Or Gnar, actually Gnar. The Gnar game from Revenge was quite good, so that's an option if they go for an ideal draft for them.
So obviously this is a lot of pro-focused bands, but
I'd like to
UTC,
see.
as the representative of the low elos, as you say, that is most of our audience. What do you think is the go-to bands right now when you play?
Oh, I mean, you gotta ban Teemo.
If our EG don't ban Teemo here, they're in trouble.
Guys, be careful. You better ban Teemo.
Or the Psychopath champions, Katarina.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Yes, I wasn't banned. Are you kidding?
No, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it.
Unplayable.
Oh my God, he actually brain controlled them into the set ban with the hover by a Blaze Olive. The mind control techniques.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're just afraid. I remember last split in summer where we saw the set into Silas, and it was just depressing to see Silas play. Like, sure, you get access to his ulti, but in laning phase is really difficult. But I wouldn't be too afraid of that.
The Blaze Olive does have a pretty flexible champion pool. He played the TK mid, he's played a bunch of weird stuff, and if you're worried about that, Jojo Pune is a master of the set mid himself. He would know that this is something he doesn't want to play into.
Yeah, double jungle ban though, with Maokai being picked, and they're pinching Inspired down to something that we might not have seen that much of this year. I guess Wukong is, that's really good against Aphelios.
Yeah, especially
Man,
with
I feel so Tactical is really good at Aphelios. This does not look like a great angle. That's why you see Aphelios Thresh, Aphelios Tom Kench, because he's so vulnerable, and when you pick him that early without protection, the other team can just pick a bunch of dive. We'll see. We'll see.
On the bright side, based on these picks, I'm feeling pretty good about my EG. Not to be that person, but
They're definitely getting what they want. And for IMT, it seems like their choice is to play towards bot lane. If you have Nautilus Aphelios, it would be really troll to play away from it. So blind pick Renekton is going to be the call here for Revenge. For mid, I think Azir is just the go-to. It's just the best pick for a Blaze Olive. It's his control mage. And you can at least have range within your comp to provide more space for Aphelios.
Yeah, I mean, they have 3 frontliners.
Oh, Rise.
Potentially Rise.
Okay.
Rise is good into Silas and also will, you know.
Match side lane.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Also, if you remember, I mean, Olive did have that pop-off. I keep thinking of that pop-off Rise game against Bjergsen.
Oh,
He
yes,
really,
last
really wanted to
year.
beat Bjergsen, so that's kind of like a cool pick for him.
Yeah, and it's good. It's just good gank setup as well for Maokai overall. So it seems like Jojopyon's going to be another target, and we get another Sion pick. So.
I'm so sad Sion is back in the meta.
Emily had Mark
Both
like,
just inhale. Oh my god, I hate the Sion Cho'Gath. Like it's cool one time, you know, like yesterday for the TSM FlyQuest game. If Sion is just one of the staple picks, 5th pick Sion is just, oh no.
I really love EG's draft.
Yeah, same.
I really love their draft. It's so easy to play front to back. Silas could at least play on, like, he can match on side lanes, but he's not going to really be doing much. But their team fight is so impressive. Lulu, Sion, Wukong, with a Zeri behind you.
am I crazy, or does it feel like all the pressure on Immortals is going to be on tactical? Like,
I see a little bit of the yes.
He's getting dove a lot this
that's
year.
how I feel. That's how I feel looking at this. I'm nervous for him. It feels like everything else around him needs to protect him, and I don't know if they'll be able to do it.
There's a lot to be afraid of, especially since like I was expecting a Thresh, because Thresh at least has Lantern in situations like that, but he's going to be on his own.
No escape.
Well, you can probably relate as a fellow AD carry player, but that's going to do it for us here at the LCS Lounge. We're going to go to the casters to get us in the game.
Thank you, my lounging lovelies. Immortals, Progressive taking on Evil Geniuses. Really like to having Cutie just all over the place. All right, like I said, I've never talked to Cutie, and I'm a big fan, and I just hope she hears me.
We gotta set you up on a date or something after this. We need to get some time.
I need some cake. I need some cake. But I know that EG are looking up to pick up a win here to round out the week. Immortals also looking to defy the odds. We'll have to see how it all goes down as Evil Geniuses as a collective make their way downtown.
And remember, the most important thing about this game is that Revenge has a good time because he's going to come cast with us next game.
Yes.
So, let's
I
hope.
didn't know if that was known or not. Now I'm sitting here thinking like, oh gosh, there's an angle to want an Immortals win for the good vibes. But he's also such a pro.
Honestly, you don't even have to win the game as long as you have a really good individual performance. So, you know, maybe we want big things from this crocodile, baby. Raise this crocodile up.
So EG fans, if you could do us a favor, I'm not gonna change you from wanting EG to win, but just say, hey, can you make Revenge have a good looking time?
On some days, 400th game LCS career long.
Woo!
Impressive stuff for him. He was the first person inducted into the 100 Thieves Hall of Fame, and then before moving on to Evil Geniuses, of course. But really impressive career he has had so far in the LCS. Happy to see that milestone hit already. As for this game, though, since we are catching up on the analysts pick and ban here, Blaze Olive has been one of the Immortals players with a huge spotlight on him. People have been wondering, he had a great breakout split for himself and has kind of bounced around since then. People really hoping to see that light really shine through. So versus Silas here with JoJo, obviously he's trying to pick up every single CS. JoJo dropping 1, sad cat. But Ablaze gonna try and get as much harassment out early and really abuse that health bar of JoJo to see if they can get some of those Rise plays to the other side. When you've got a Nautilus in your bottom lane, that Nautilus is just dying to go in at any chance, over and over. Please let me kill this Lulu. That is what's going through Fleshy's head. And so if you get Rise down there, if you get Maokai down there to make that Nautilus happy, then your team is going to be happy.
And we've seen evidence of that spotlight, of that pressure on a Blaze Olive in his play, wanting to make the plays work even when they're in the deficit. This week, having a hard week against FlyQuest and C9, still trying to take on the 1v3 with just a little bit of difference, could have went in an opposite direction. So you hope that he still has that resolve when going forward in this matchup against EG, where EG, yes, they are 6-2. Yes, they are definitely a strong team in the eyes of many. They've still had their little wavery moments that you can try and pry open if you're on the side of Immortals.
All right, so there's the first push of the game. ABAIXO is going to go for the recall off his first minion wave, getting JoJo under tower. JoJo immediately minion dematerializer, try and counter shove it right back out. And match. So ABAIXO on his first back, got his tier money. So you're looking for to stack up as quickly as possible on Rise. So gets his early tier off that hard shove. Loses out on 2 melees.
Oh!
Gets the third, nice.
Boom stats, ABAIXO making his way back to the mid lane. And I do want to keep eyes on that call out you made as well, on how Fleshy on this Nautilus can set up with those dredge lines to allow people like Tactical, like ABAIXO, to punish upon these squishies on the EG side.
And it looks like as of now, we get the reset for Inspired coming back out with a double long sword, extra attack damage, and Kenvi finishes up on top side Scuttle. So it looks like bottom side Scuttle probably will be sacrificed over to Evil Geniuses. They really want to keep this, again, big thing for EG, keep other roamers out of our bottom lane. Let our Zeri Lulu have an easy lane, unharassed versus this melee support. And Vulcan gonna come with Inspired. Lulu, we've seen the potency of the Lulu polymorphs in some of these gank swords mid, but ABAIXO is at the exact same time using his push time to roam up towards top side instead. Maybe he too is trying to set up revenge for a good cast next game.
ABAIXO on the Rise means for sure looking for those angles across the entirety of the map. One of the mid laners noted for doing so.
And so I want to point out the wards that were just left behind when you get to meet up with your jungler plus support. Deep Vision, the name of the game for Evil Geniuses. They got Scuttle Crab plus the 2 red side jungle wards. Full information. Trying to protect that bottom lane, trying to play around it pretty defensively, and interesting control ward left off by Fleshy. It is right there behind the blue buff in this little blue buff brush, but it's instant. Oh, he just passes by it. Doesn't quite walk into the brush there. Thought that was going to be the shortest control word life of all time. Only a few seconds, but he passes right by it. And so that ward gives some value for Immortals. Saw the monkey the whole time.
Yep, and with it being a control and nothing other than that, EG might have quite some time until he revisits back towards that way to clear that out. I think that when you're looking over at that bot side, that's something that you have to count for a jungler intervention.
Yeah, and getting double vision of both junglers down on bottom side actually does benefit both these solo laners. You know, Renekton trying to use that opportunity, knowing he can't get ganked right now, to push in on Someday. Someday with some good Q charges here, though. Doing quite nice for himself, actually.
And it is important to watch how Revenge does on this Renekton. I found it really interesting, a discussion on the dive, the one that you weren't a part of because Ben was there, how they were talking about Revenge and how he is a formidable top laner, and sometimes around the team's success doesn't always get the credit for what he is able to do in that lane. So you want to look at the moments where he can really show out and be a powerful point for this squad.
Yeah, both Sven and Fudge have had some kind words for Revenge. Obviously the Cloud9 group, maybe some successful Immortal scrims against them have influenced that. During this though, Evil Geniuses, of course, you saw the entire setup on your screens. They're able to pull the dragon, leash it out to the edge of the dragon pit, even though it is in vision. Being able to use all of this focus on bottom side with repeated vision attempts here from EG. Get themselves the first dragon and get a gank.
The response over the wall by FBI and the polymorph sets up some good damage onto Fleshy, but Tactical has enough distance to not give over a death.
All right, the first attempt at a Silas roam here from JoJo. Trying to go down that pathway through the bottom side river. Getting a little bit of safety eliminated from the Immortal side. ABAIXO again. He keeps looking top side. I was thinking more in this game was going to be bot, but they're going for the Scion.
And Someday's got a couple escape mechanisms, whether it be the ultimate or the flash, manages to defend himself against IMC.
And honestly, I think Evil Geniuses are pretty happy that there is focus from Immortals towards the top side, rather than trying to combat their defense on bottom side. Someday here answers flashes with Kenvi. That's a great trade for EG. Yeah, they lost one turret plate, got credit there for revenge, but Someday got right back into experience range really quickly, still gets most of the minions, and he's Scion versus Renekton. Like, this early game, even though it's 0-0-0, like, this is going really well for Evil Geniuses, I must say. With the Maokai and the Rise both showing top 2, you have to think about not just the play that happened in front of your face, but the opportunity cost, what they could have done, you know, with roaming mid, with jungle. They're going to use it now to transition into this Rift Herald, but EG also have their whole bottom lane coming.
Dredgeline route and more directly onto JoJo, the hijacked ultimate. Oh my goodness.
Someday doesn't have teleport or ultimate though, so it's going to take a while for the sound to get here. So EG know we're 4v5, got to give it up, and Immortals will get an objective in this game.
Okay, so after EG getting that early pressure on bot side and picking up that first dragon around 646, now Immortals answering on the top side, acquiring that Rift Herald for themselves, keeping themselves in this matchup for sure.
Yeah, when Scion, no teleport, used it to get back out the lane last time, and then ultimate was burned in the attempt on the dive there. Meant that someday the big front line won't be able to arrive in time, and Immortals jump on the timing window here quite nicely. See where Kenvi actually takes it, because Inspired's looking for a gank.
And Revenge moving forward for the lock, moving
Good
back with
flash.
a flash. Just in time, good timing from Revenge to hold off over on that top side with EG. I do want to know your thoughts on Scion coming in though, considering what the desk was saying.
Scion definitely a super good tank right now, especially because there have been a lot of mono type comps that they've been playing against. But I really want to highlight how good of a flash that was. Burning Wukong flash and ultimates here on the gank. Very good quick reactions from Revenge, not dropping to that. Is one of the biggest offensive tools that EG actually have in this mid game. Without that, without Wukong flash and ultimate, all the other lanes just breathing a big sigh of relief there. And we'll have to see if Revenge is, in the end, actually punished for not having his flash up here on Renekton or not, but it's gonna be up to the roam timer.
Does seem to be holding his own very well. That ward down in Riverside means that they've been keeping an eye on whether JoJo is going to be making movement towards that top side. Immortals granted the opportunity to drop their Rift Herald down bot. We know the advantages that EG are wanting to build up in those future carries, and Immortals want to offset it.
Yeah, I'd say Immortals now, because again, I'm looking at them to be the ones to try and push this game forward. Try and use a roam timer towards tactical. This is a Gale Force completed Aphelios. I want to see some action down there. You picked Nautilus. Make some plays. You've got the tools to do it.
Two sides to that coin. The tools to do it for Immortals to make these plays with tactical. Also, I'm sure a little bit of some care to be had by them as we extend into later portions of the game, worrying about picks like the Wukong, who can dive upon him, and being careful as possible.
Yeah, because anytime you're in a game like this, you got to evaluate who's actually going to win us this game. And from Immortal's side, you could say it's either Rise or Aphelios. There's probably not a world where Renekton, unless it's one of these crazy games where he's actually legendary, is going to, in the end, win you the game. Because that EG comp is so crazy hard for Renekton to teamfight into. That's not your way for victory. So get tactical super rich or get a Blaze super rich so that he can start roaming around.
Revenge between a Scion and a hard place, with Inspired upon him as well. First blood for JoJo.
Oh, that's actually a beautiful place to put the kill credit too. But with EG showing 3 members up on the top side, it's kind of the reverse situation. So Tactical and Fleshy get some more turret plate money for themselves. Pretty happy with that. And Kenvi tries to start up this dragon, but it might get countered. Inspired and JoJo are on the way.
A Blaze Olive here for the defense, but they do have to be wary about being collapsed upon. Managed to finish it off, so even Dragon split with the second one being picked up here by Immortals.
Honestly, so far this game, I feel like everyone who's going top is losing. Whoever stays on bottom side and gets the extra stuff out of bottom side feels pretty good. Yes, good kill for Evil Geniuses, getting the Renekton down, punishing him having no flash. But that did leave the window open for a dragon plus some turret plate money for the Aphelios, which is one of the ones you're worried about. Scion ultimate though from Someday from downtown. Curving along the edge pretty closely, but really it's just about bringing the other members. The importance of those roam timers, mid, jungle, makes that play happen. And this time, the Wukong ultimate does kill the Crocodile.
So a good setup over on the top side that Evil Geniuses was able to acquire first blood with. But to your point, Kobe, I feel like there has been a bit of leaning towards top side in the 2 games so far, including this one. But yeah, when looking towards those carries, players like Tactical, when thinking back to his debut in the LCS, right? I believe it was on Aphelios that he made some of the flashiest plays. Aphelios, Kalista, when you're thinking about the peaks at which he can perform. And now Immortals need to do what they can as they extend later on to be able to protect that win condition against the mounting and ever stronger Zeri over time.
Yeah, and we get the completion for the Rod of Ages now for a Blaze Olive. So start the timer. Meanwhile, it's already 3 stacks in deep here for JoJo on the Stylus, who was the one who got the first blood money as well. So really mid lane here. It's starting to look like we've missed some of the really big windows on the side of Immortals. And I want to see if JoJo's able to get Vision of Kenvi, steal that ultimate. Impact Someday down here though. I don't know why, but he's just attracting so much attention. He's just chilling playing a Scion, okay? Farming away.
Scion, big guy, hard to miss. Everyone wants to go take a peek.
Well, nice little sweep here towards mid though.
Meanwhile, the rest of EG here to get the play on mid, Flashy over the wall, Flash and actually, and Inspire having to flash out as well with the wild growth upon him. Tactical getting low and in the center of Evil Geniuses. The rest of the team is here to try and punish, but it's a 1-for-1 trade so far. FBI getting himself the heck out of there, expelling all of his summoners before he can bring down more damage. What a good swing from Revenge, but the Crocodile goes down. Missed chain lash from JoJo onto a Blaze Olive. He can dish it back as well, but now the retreat from the remainder of Evil Geniuses.
It looked really cool, flashing in for a giant Q plus Gore Drinker there from Revenge. But the Maokai and the Nautilus, I just used all their spells, so that there is no follow-up damage from them. And I think there was just like one Q from the Rise, so there was no follow-up on it. Did look cool, kind of trying to drain tank in all 4 of them. In the end, EG just bought enough time for Someday on the side, ultimate to come in, split them up. And you'll take a look at the communication here. So initially, they go on Nautilus. Nice hook there from Fleshy. Buffers it a bit, so he's still able to get to the Raptor Pit and flash over. Then Tactical goes all in. You can tell he's been waiting this whole game. He's like, we got Nautilus bomb side. I want to make a play. He had a Gale Force. He goes all the way in, Flash and Gale Force, and trades the 1-for-1. But then, looking for the really big play, there's no other follow-up damage. It's just the Renekton. And so Evil Geniuses, even though all 4 get hit, they still are able to kite out. Especially the Zeri here wasn't really under any follow-up kill threat damage, and so they just spread out, focus back down the Renekton, chase him on the outside, and EG kind of passing one of those really big markers for us to get towards this middle stage of the game. I was excited though. You're looking for blood boiling plays here from Tactical. That was he really wanted that kill, and he got it.
You know those running things where, you're running in place and you can hook onto the back, so you're just like running, and if somebody were to let you go, you just snap off? You know what I'm talking about?
For training, yeah.
For training. I feel like Tactical's on that, but actually we get some action here in the mid as we have the Rift Herald dropped onto the turret, and ult for ult. The root onto Fleshy again, trying to knock up and respond to Revenge. How much can he pull from EG right now? JoJo has to get out of it with the flash and more. FBI setting his sights onto a Blaze Olive, who eventually pops, and Tactical in the center of all of EG once again ends up falling. Kenvi knows that Inspired is on his tail, so Revenge was waiting on the opposite side of the pit to be able to hop on. And Vulcan now has to back up. Someday EG, the rest of them just trying to trade the opportunity to get the last hit onto Kenvi, but can't quite do it. They did get 3 though.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses, after the last fight, now knowing there's nothing left on the Aphelios, no Ghost, no Flash, no Gale Force, they're able to power through on this river fight, even with all of those chakrams stacked up on the white gun for Aphelios. I was thinking he's going to chop somebody down. Nice little flash from JoJo, though. He escaped, got down low, flashed defensively to escape with his life, allow the rest of the members of EG to then push down, grab the kills, and get their rewards in the aftermath. I think from here on out, it should be pretty controlled from Evil Geniuses. And so, it's up to Immortals to disrupt that control that EG have over this game. And it's going to have to be some really risky plays for them to do that.
It shows how impactful those fights in the center of the map can be. Immortals getting some crash and some movement for themselves, but EG winning out in the fight means that they can get the second Drake, third of the game overall thus far, and put that gold lead into higher, more oppressive territory slowly but surely. JoJo locking onto a Blaze Olive on his top side. He knew that someday was coming in with a teleport. They are looking for the kill onto a Blaze Olive, who knows that Kenvi is nearby as well, but there's not enough to be said. A delayed ultimate thrown out from Kenvi, and the remainder of EG keeping their focus over on mid.
Yep, you can see even the attempt for split pushing now for the Rise gets chopped down so quickly. Nice little teleport there from Someday. And JoJo hits the E2 chains on a Blaze. It's always the mind game. Are you going to dodge backwards or are you going to not dodge at all? JoJo calls it. Ablaze gets interrupted off his Realm Warp, and that's going to be very nice rewards here for JoJo. Solo tower gold. He is quite a rich Silas, and already 8 stacks on the Rod of Ages. Going to get that bonus level soon. Feeling very nice. Shadow Flame as well, I'm assuming. Yep, there it is. So he's got the flat bend Silas going too. Now the Renekton's under attack.
Yeah, you can see just how much stronger EG have gotten in recent memory. Revenge now caught in the crosshairs of multiple. A bit of that sustain working out for him, but can't finish anything off. Just look at EG looking so strong.
Yeah, you could tell there he was looking around. There's 3 champions around him. He's like, all right, I can't kill any of these champions, but maybe I can kill this cannon minion. And he tries to go for the stun on the cannon minion, try and finish it off and get some gold, but he couldn't even finish the cannon minion. So rough there for Immortals.
Oh, a little bit of a face-off. FBI coming in hard with the ultimate in tow. Dredge line directly on him, and Inspire tries to separate the entirety of this fight. Knock up and more onto Nautilus. Fleshy goes down. FBI, the subject of the wild growth, once more hops back over the wall, and enough space created between the remainder of IMT.
Wow, Vulcan there with the shield on Inspired as the Ignite is ticking on him, denying the only possible kill there for Immortals. They really wanted that one, really needed it. Someday might be looking towards this Aphelios pretty far up.
Coming on in, Unstoppable is all heck. A little edge hit onto Tactical, but Tactical made it towards his turret in time.
Yeah, he made it toward his turret, and now again, no flash, no Gale Force. What a value little hover by Someday. I mean, he's just waiting around in the brush by river, gets both mobility tools off of this Aphelios, and then you see that Realm Warp on the bottom of your screen, and Someday just walks over. He's like, I dare you. Please, somebody step inside. Please arrive. No one actually does, and it is EG kind of removing any of these possible tools for Immortals to even, dream for one of those successful fights. Now that the Aphelios is again, no mobility at all, it is going to be super rough for them to achieve it. He does have his Lord Doms complete though, so hopefully for them they'll be able to chop down.
And Revenge on the retreat again, slicing and dicing away, slowed as all heck, flashes out. Another ult trade here across the mid lane. But it really does feel like EG are dictating the movement of Immortals. That window in which a surprise Realm Warp or something can be impactful is closing.
Ooh, and I was hoping that Ablaze, for Immortals' sake, would be able to get the local gold off of that top tower, but they saw EG rotating from mid lane, and he knew if he went for that, if he greeted for it, he would die. And so they don't get the local gold off of it, but they do get it at least. 50 gold per member of the team, and he's still...
Oh, flashback on the attack. EG won't stop that. Ablaze Olive goes down. I feel like so many members of Immortals right now are just like, come on, man, I'm just in the jungle. I just want to get one thing.
I do feel that. He gave up on trying to get the local gold of the tower, and he's like, fine, I'll just go get a Gromp.
Yeah.
Nope, doesn't get the local gold, doesn't get the Gromp either. Actually, the Gromp is dead, I don't even know. Baron, though, is under attack. Immortals, pray!
EG at it, Jojo over the wall, into the center he goes, FBI ulting once again, and Fleshy still just the first to fall, going into stasis. Jojo keeps himself into the fight, and Kenby is the next isolated target. A big blast of damage onto FBI by Tactical. But luckily for EG, the melees managed to put themselves into the center of the fight. Teleport coming in from Immortals. That's some heavy damage onto Someday. Passive ultimately pops up, and the rest of EG do retreat, trading one.
See, that is the goal for Immortals. That right there, they almost had that overwhelming team fight off of Tactical. Imagine if he had his Gale Force or his Flash here. The YouTube highlight play, Aphelio's takeover in the defense of this Baron. It's a 4v5 for Immortals, so they're just gonna go ham, engage on EG, try and get them off. Good Nautilus ultimate, got the double knock up there, and then Jojo's able to stopwatch after they get the first kill onto him, but he gets chunked out really well, and then Tactical Gale Force in. That was what had the big part of the burst damage onto FBI, and then they can chase down the front line after chunking out the DPS. He does have his Lord Doms. They can burn through the Scion. He is not... Okay, EG right back at it. Here's round 2, baby.
Making their way, IMT in the vicinity, but most of them are located over towards the mid lane. EG very aware of that, burning down the Baron to get the Red Bull Baron buff in tow. And I think those are those moments when you're looking at, Tactical almost was able to kill off FBI. Earlier Revenge went in and he got some heavy damage, but he's not the one to finish him off. And they really stack up in the minds of Immortals, who are just saying, we just need to finish a few at the start to be able to collapse upon the rest. But Someday always coming in right at the nick of time to absorb anything else. A dredge line attempt there on FBI, but it's not found.
Yeah, good Hex Flash look, but what's the punish look like from EG?
The punish is some heavy damage onto Revenge with a teleport right beneath his feet. And lockdown Immortals exiting over across Riverside. But look how fast Jojo is. Look how fast the rest of the team is. Inspired cutting off the rest of IMT. And Fleshy again separated from the squad. Into the pit he goes, giving his life alongside a Blaze Olive here. And Immortals are on the retreat again.
Yeah, looks like the rest of them will survive, but that is 2 in the dirt, and it's a Baron buff on EG. So you know it's just about how many towers can they get as their reward.
Looks like a tier 2 mid is one way to continue to crack things open for Evil Geniuses. Over a minute and a half left on this buff. And Immortals, that's the thing when you're finding these fights over in the jungle, you try to go for the play, and EG is immediately responding, hey, we see your attempt at getting that dredge line. It didn't hit, so now let's turn this on you.
Yeah. You can tell the reasoning from Immortals, even though it's a risky play. Like, those are the ones you have to do to get back in the game. Your only hope is, surprise, we got Zeri, boom, insta-kill, and try and get that bounty. After that doesn't work, you know, all right, now we're going to be in for some pain. We missed. Everyone just scramble, run for your lives. EG chasing down 2 and getting 2 towers is just piling even more on, almost up to 9,000 gold. But, you know, the plan from Immortals doesn't really change. They know they have a very difficult time fighting into this team. The later it gets even worse and worse. The scaling is definitely not in their favor. And so you have to just keep on hoping for those dream Hail Mary, Hex Flash, try and kill a Zeri or try and get a bounty off of Jojo too. Those 2 carries are supremely dangerous, but also very rewarding if you can get a surprise kill on them.
And it is so difficult to anticipate how you are going to achieve that surprise kill when you think not just about the initial initiation, but we talked about Vulcan earlier, how the shield onto Inspired was such good timing. We sometimes overlook the pressure of these supports as they go and make this pressure onto the bot side. Scion ultimate coming in, unstoppable once again, multiple roots from JoJo. Revenge, Dominus activated, backing up towards his fountain, the knock up onto Someday, and getting a lot of damage from Tactical, who throws out his ultimate as well onto Evil Geniuses. No kills acquired, and the inhibitor was taken by Evil Geniuses as well, getting the objectives that they came for.
Yeah, dishing out a good amount of damage, and Tactical still fishing around. He now has both summoners up, so now he's looking for a possible Gale Force play, but they're unable to chase any member of EG into a poor position for him. So not going to be any extra gold scrounged up. If they could get him up to Infinity Edge, then
Partida encontrada.
Qual que é o mapa? Que eu não vi. Ixi, velho. Não sabe não qual que é o mapa, velho.
E salve, salve galerinha, tudo bem com vocês? Acredite sempre na voz aí, o pior streamer de todos os tempos. Quem curte o canal, comenta, compartilha, se inscreve aí, tamo junto. É o pior streamer de todos os tempos, Acredite sem pai. E simbora, o pior canal de Valorant. E as piores lives de todos os mundos e todos os séculos. Simbora galera, só vem. Hoje nós não estamos aí com a webcam ligada, a gente está aí com a Animanese lá. Essa raposinha aí que tá ligado, tá no meu lugar da minha webcam aí. E estamos fazendo uns testes aqui. Só vem galera, vamos que vamos. simbora, galera. Tá demorando pra caramba aqui, galera. Guardar aqui, vamos ver. Bora. Será que não vai rolar? Será que vai rolar? Já demorou demais. E vamos que vamos, galera. Caeta sem. Ai, o pior de tudo. Obrigado por todos que estão na live aí. E dá aquele salve aí pra nós aí. Salve pra geral aí.
Reina, tem jeitos melhores de sobreviver do que esse.
Nossa, tem razão. Pobre de mim. Como poderei me redimir?
Bora, galera, sim. Já vamos se empoleirar aqui, ó.
Lá vai, carga.
Posto aqui, ó. Se passar é mamar, rapaz. Se passar, mamar do mesmo jeito. No competitivinho aqui de leve.
Inimigo no A.
Ah, não há tão.
Abate mais bonito.
Spike no chão. A. Resta um inimigo. Pense da equipe.
Pobres criaturas miseráveis.
Boa, boa, molecada, boa.
Hora da caçada, Reina.
Recarregando. Recarregando.
Boa, galera. Vamos abrir outro OBS aqui.
Recarregando. Recarregando.
Já vamos se empoleirar ali de novo ali, né, galera? E vamos.
Hora de explodir. Lá vai, carga. Lá vai, carga.
Caraca.
Fica daqui. Granada!
Spike plantada.
Bombinha na boa.
Recarregando.
Mamãe, moleque.
Debaixo de você, debaixo de você, debaixo de você. Debaixo de você, sei.
Último jogador vivo.
Eles vão vazar por causa das minhas paradas. Aí é fácil de mirar.
Tirem eles daqui.
Inimigo no B. Granada!
Desculpa aí, rapaziada, foi mal.
Último vivo. Spike plantada.
Aí, Paulinho, confio em tu.
Último jogador vivo. Spike plantada.
Sou a última coisa que eles veem antes de morrer. Sortudos.
Aí, Paulinho, confio em tu.
Spike no chão, meio.
Alguém no B.
Spike no chão, meio. Resta um inimigo.
Fico feliz em morrer tão rápido.
Valeu.
Fiz nada. Normal.
Sabemos mais agora do que antes.
O cara...
Vamos aproveitar.
O cara tá se vangloriando.
Posso te
como
dar
tá
um
feito nada.
presentinho?
Eu tô aí triste.
Posso te dar um presentinho?
Nossa, o jogo tá lagado aí, velho.
Aqui tá, mano.
Lá vai carregar.
Spike no chão, B.
Estão tudo... B. Tudo B. Atrás, atrás.
Inimigo no B.
Aí,
Granada!
Spike no chão, B.
Três almas.
o tiozinho pegou e não avisou nada, velho.
Resta um inimigo.
Ponte pronta.
Costa, costa.
Você mal valeu o esforço.
Horrível com essa porra desse jogo não avisou.
Que arma escolher agora?
Oi, galera, vamos ativar.
Lá vai cá. Lá vai cá.
Inimigo meio. Melhor. Perdi meus olhos. Morto.
Granada!
É melhor sair da frente.
Ah, vou botar no túnel. Deve estar indo pra...
Chegou, rei!
Vai junto com a rede. Vai.
Tá plantando, plantando.
Spike plantada. Último jogador vivo.
Atira na parede aí, ó. Na direita. Esquerda, esquerda, esquerda. Atira pela parede, vara a parede. Esquerda, esquerda.
Componente morto.
O outro tá nas costas. Ele usou habilidade. Em cima.
Vai.
Nossa, muito burro, cara.
É muito incompetente.
Foi pra isso que...
Respeita! Maior cagada que eu já dei na minha
Parece que a
vida.
Sage
Mano,
não
esse
é
é o
tão gentil
pior Yoro
assim.
que eu já vi na minha vida.
Bah.
Tá junto com burrice, né? Quer dizer, burrice do Yoro.
Sem carga.
Bora, galera, bora.
Vai ser A, não?
Tem... Tá aí.
Você já era. Inimigo devastado. Ultimate pronta.
Peguei assistência. Tão lá.
Chegando.
Tomando a visão.
Menos 148 de ouro. Yuri plantando. O outro tá aí de volta, seu.
Spike plantada. Resta um inimigo.
Boa. O outro tá debaixo do bombo.
Último jogador vivo.
Pega ele, time.
A ult está pronta.
Boa. Defusa.
Do outro lado.
Boa.
Tô tentando ficar
Mano, às
séria
vezes é
aqui,
até
mas
melhor
tá
você avançar
engraçado
logo
demais.
direto, velho, que os caras não esperam isso. Já você vai ficar cobrindo.
Eles estão muito mortos.
Não deixem que passem.
É B, certeza.
Eles vão
Pode
temer.
avançar, avança. Vai ser. É A.
Spike plantada.
Plantou.
Recarregando. Onde estão escondidos?
Essa Aninha do time deles é tudo.
Resta um inimigo.
Alguém quer hoje?
Magistral.
É não, pode.
Meus amores, tamo vivo.
Parece que esses estranhos me querem morto. É bien, não são os primeiros.
E vai rolar a festa.
É A. Pode avançar.
Que isso? Ninguém fica no A, não, mano.
O cara só vai A, velho.
Oi! Tô puta!
Dentro do bombo.
É melhor sair da frente.
Ah, mano. Estão aqui.
Spike plantada.
Pega ele.
Sua missão não acabou.
Obrigado. Ah, não, pronto.
Resta um inimigo. Incerto.
Cadê? Onde é que ele tá?
Tá no caixão.
Acharam mesmo que ia dar certo?
É triste.
Estamos aqui porque somos os melhores. Não te esqueça disso.
Encontre eles.
É A, é A. Eu acho que é A, né? Não, é A. Não é B. Não é A, é A. É A, é A.
Tem ninguém A, não. Tudo meio.
Não é A. Ou é
Tá
meio.
todo mundo meio, mano. Todo mundo meio.
Não é
Você não viu no mapa, não?
Não é B? B ou A? É B ou A?
B. Plantando B.
Os caras tão me confundindo, velho.
Muitos inimigos B.
Spike plantada.
Inimigo no B.
Granada!
Último jogador vivo.
Esquerda, ó. Desce. Vai.
Carga, confere. Freio, ha, nem cheiro.
Enchi a rede de tiro, ela morreu. Ficou com 20 pontos.
Fazer a mesma coisa.
Eles vão temer. Você não matará meus aliados.
Nossa, é meio.
Último jogador vivo.
Olha isso.
Mergulhe em trevas.
Última rodada antes da troca.
Não seja avarento. Gaste tudo antes que acabe.
Acreditava.
Eles estão indo pro meio, né?
Vamos só esperar eles no Island B.
Eu vou te encontrar.
Mais fácil do que ir ali no meio.
É B. É B.
Vou passar só.
É melhor sair da frente!
Vou pegar esse bolo.
Spike plantada.
Cuidado!
Último jogador vivo. Resta um inimigo.
Decepção.
Calma, calma.
Troca de lados.
Geralmente eles ficam distraídos quando eu os
Valeu,
revelo.
pessoal.
Tirem proveito disso.
Agora a mesmo, né?
Achei você.
Inimigo no ar. Bela tentativa. Spike plantada.
Último jogador vivo.
Atrás.
Que vidas mais sem sentido. Melhor entregá-las a mim.
Alguém compra isso pra mim?
Só 50 moedinhas aqui.
Nós ganhamos?
O quê?
Nós ganhamos ou perdemos essa?
Não, perdeu.
Lutem!
Aqui!
Agora mesmo.
Cuidado aí!
Inimigo no meio. Lá vai cá. Recarregando. Alvo voltará. Inimigo no ar. Finalizei. Nosso Spike no chão.
Spike no chão, meio. Resta um inimigo.
Tenho a Spike.
Último jogador vivo.
Pega outra arma, sem dar não.
Restam 30 segundos.
Spike plantada.
Foi pro ar, mas vai voltar. Ele fica só aí, né, velho?
Uma bala por inimigo é o suficiente, sim?
com Spike.
Meio.
Recarregando. Lá vai, carga.
Último jogador.
Se eles tentarem alguma coisa, eu vejo.
Agora meio. Meio. Ah, deixa.
Vamos.
Ah, é. Agora.
Deixa eu te achar de novo.
É rápido.
Eles vão temer. Todos cegos.
Vou ver código aqui, velho, porque. Tá vendo?
Ultimate pronto.
Não sei o que é.
Lá estão eles.
Tem dois jardins.
Vai plantada.
Sua missão não acabou.
Jardim.
Último jogador vivo.
Valeu.
Ainda não os avistei, mas sinto que estão se preparando.
Melhor este meio.
Vamos.
Inimigo no meio. Granada!
Lá vai, carga.
Inimigo no meio.
Ganhei! Peguei eles.
Eliminado.
Último jogador vivo.
Recarregando.
Spike no chão, meio. Você.
Respirem fundo.
Essa animação
Seus
de morte é
corações
muito
batem
zoada, velho.
forte.
Eles estão muito mortos. É melhor sair da frente.
vivo. Spike no chão, B.
Coragem! Somos Valorant! Somos guerreiros!
Spike no chão, meio.
Sua missão não acabou! Spike no chão, tô com Spike.
Spike no chão, meio.
Sai daí.
Último jogador vivo.
Querem dançar?
Cheguei pra amassar, hein, tropa!
Bora... Caralho, esse mapa é uma bosta. Bora B, bora B, bora B.
Ah.
Eu vou te encontrar.
Não, B, B. B, sabe o que é B? B. Número B.
Bombinho já foi. Lá vai carne. Lá vai carne.
Ah, mano, o cara acaba, vai tomar no cu.
Spike no chão, B. Último jogador vivo.
Uma hora você tá ganhando 8-4. Agora você perde 10.
Spike plantada.
O inimigo só parece tranquilo. O coração deles me diz outra coisa.
Mano, vou jogar junto, mano. Vamos parar de puxar igual doido. Vem, vem.
Morreu.
É melhor sair da frente!
Tem mais.
Resta um inimigo.
Olha pra mim e saiba que eu estou do seu lado.
Vai pra onde, tropa? A ou B?
Vamos ver.
Não. Vamos meio.
Melhor.
Bom chance, meus amigos.
Cortando a visão.
Vá.
Câmera derrubada.
Seja aí, ô Eno.
Armadilha destruída. Recarregando.
No lado defensor.
Inimigo B.
Último jogador vivo. Spike no chão, B.
Ah!
Match point.
Ah, sobrou só umas 78 granadas. Tomara que dê.
Tomando a visão.
Resta um inimigo.
Ô, o pai tá jogando muito. Olha que eu nunca joguei, hein? Pega.
Será que vão tentar os mesmos truques de sempre?
Eu tô lagando muito. Normal.
Vai todo mundo dançar.
Inimigo no meio.
Lamentável.
Eles estão muito mortos.
Inimigo no meio.
Entrar, vai entrar.
Você não matará meus aliados.
Fecha a porta.
Spike no chão,
Mano, esse lag não dá, velho.
Lá vai fogo.
Fecha a porta.
Último jogador vivo. Ace da
Ah,
equipe.
mano, meu Deus.
Vitória dos defensores.
Matei 30 caras.